Hello, I'm at the Anne Frank Memorial of Human Rights here in Boise, Idaho. And I'm sitting in front of a beautiful metal sculpture of a chestnut tree. Today's story is about a real girl named Anne Frank who loved to write and who died in World War II. This book is also about a tree that lives outside of Anne's window. The tree loves the girl and watches over her for many years. This book is called The Tree in the Courtyard, Looking Through Anne Frank's Window, and it's by Jeff Gottesfeld, and it's illustrated by Peter McCarty. The two of us looked out at the blue sky, the bare chestnut tree glistening with dew, the seagulls and other birds glinting with silver as they swooped through the air, and we were so moved and entranced that we couldn't speak. And that's a quote by Anne Frank. The tree in the courtyard lived for 172 years. She was a horse chestnut. Her leaves were green stars, her flowers foaming cones of white and pink. Each fall she let spiky seed pods clatter to the earth. In winter, her bare boughs etched a lattice against a pale blue sky. She grew near a city canal. Seagulls flocked to her shade. For the first part of her life, her world was the courtyard. She was not yet tall enough to see beyond the homes, workshops, and factories. Then one spring, she stretched above the orange roofs and took in the beautiful city. She spread roots and reached skyward in peace. Until war came. Explosions shook the ground. Rockets split the night. Strangers invaded the city. The first winter of the war, a new owner came to one of the factories. He had a wife and 2 daughters. The older girl was quiet and proper. The younger one was lively with dark hair. When they visited the factory, she would play by the canal or write by the kitchen window. She wrote for hours. Even when her father called her, she wrote. The tree loved the sight of her. In the heat of midsummer, the girl stopped coming. The tree dropped worried leaves until she spotted the girl in the factory annex. Her family was there too. A father, a mother, and a boy soon joined them. Later, another man and a black cat. The girl and her father stitched ragged curtains for the main windows. From time to time, a face might peer out between the cracks. The only clear view was into the attic. There the girl would read, stroke the cat, and brush her unruly hair. Sometimes she stared at the sky. Mostly she wrote. She filled a red and white diary. When warplanes roared and bombs rocked the annex, the girl fled into her father's arms. She did not come outside. The tree did not understand. The war dragged on. Once through the curtains, the tree watched people light candles and sing. The girl grew pale and thin. A young woman helper who worked in the factory brought her pens and paper. The girl wrote and wrote some more. She filled page after page. The fourth winter of the war, the tree saw the boy with the girl. They would talk and laugh, or simply gaze out the attic window at her bare branches glistening with dew, so moved and entranced that they couldn't speak. They kissed. The tree made her blossoms extra bright that spring. Late one summer morning, men in gray uniforms came to the factory. They ripped the curtains from the annex windows. They dumped the girls' papers to the floor and herded people into waiting black cars. The cars sped off. The woman from the factory gathered the girls' writings. The tree kept a vigil. Summer, autumn, winter, spring. The seasons changed. The war ended. Only the father returned. He was thin with sad eyes as he padded through the annex like a living ghost. The woman helper gave him the girls' writings. They cried. The tree lived on, but she was never the same. Time passed. To her surprise, other children came to the annex. They walked where the girl had walked and sat where she had sat. Some found a wind-blown seapod on the pavement or gazed at the tree, so moved and entranced that they couldn't speak. Year after year they came. By the end of the century, the tree had lived a full life. She was ready to die. Many strangers came and tried to save her. They injected her with medicine. They trimmed her crown and cut sprouts from her trunk. They built her a steel support and collected her seed pods like gold coins. The tree recalled how few had tried to save the girl. The summer the girl would have turned 81, a storm snapped the tree's trunk in two. Just like the girl, she passed into history. Just like the girl, she lives on. Her seeds and saplings have been planted with love. One grows in New York City where the Twin Towers once stood. Another grows at an Arkansas high school. Still more grow in England, Argentina, France, all around the world. Though the trees are still young, children come to visit. They read the girl's words about a chestnut in a courtyard glistening with dew and touch the thin trunks. They are so entranced that they cannot speak. An upstander is someone who uses words and actions to help other people. Anne Frank was an upstander by using the words she wrote in her diary about what happened to the Jews in World War II. She helped the world understand what happened when people are treated badly. How can you be an upstander? By using words or actions to help someone.